It's a huge statement because you can think nice thing, I like this, so I'm going to do, I go for it. Yeah, you can see that. But then if your choices are wrong and you want things that aren't so good for you or that are kind of gross, you're going to still go and get them. And then there'll be fights. You'll attract people that are lower level energies and you'll be fighting and arguing and stormy, and a lot of stormy relationships. It can sometimes create powerful sex, Mars, Venus, but it's not pleasant if it's forced. It's too speeded up, it's too aggressive, it's one-sided. So if one person gets off and then goes to sleep, the other person left stormy. Hard to be nice the next day. All of these things start to, all these outer behaviors and inner receptions affect the way we think, how we feel. They go into our memories, they build up complexes, and they start to create patterns of whether we take a job we're getting paid well for, whether we'll take a risk to push for it for more, whether we're not, who's the bully, who's not. These are all Mars, Venus scenarios. So it's, any one of these, we could spend hours just talking Venus, Mars. We'll spend more time on this as we go along, but this is the first hit on it. So you just want to think stress between giving, wanting, and getting. So I want to get a chocolate. So you have a kid, and you got two kids, and you give them each dessert. The one with the Venus Mars is looking to see, they got more than me, no fair. Right away, they're ready to fight. I gotta have more. You know, like it has this coarseness to it. So yeah, it's not the worst of aspects, but it's rowdiness. You know, like it's not going to create peaceful relationships. To them are not going to be peaceful. Their manner of shopping, their manner of using money, what kind of job they're going to get what they want, it's always going to be stressful and angry or forceful. I got to do this, I got to do that. Hey, that's great for a high pressure salesman, someone pushing to sell things or make things happen. I got to get this, I got to get it, you need this, you got to do that. You can do that, but it's not necessarily peaceful. And decisions can be, then your other layer. So all these layers interpenetrate each other. We're just separating one at a time. When you put Venus out to Jupiter, again, Venus, Jupiter, supposed to be the luckiest thing. You get an abundance of appreciation, abundance of luck, abundance of beauty. Okay, so we're thinking stress and non-stress, but the positive would be, geez, well, I'm just lucky. I attract what I want. I'm lucky with money. I get an abundance. No problem. But if it's negative, you're going to be really thinking you should have an awful lot of abundance when you don't. You're going to be exaggerating the negative too. The desires, the choices, there'll be a tendency to exaggerate what you want. That's going to affect the way you think, the way you live, and it's going to be a strong factor in your character. Not everybody would run into it, but it would be apparent as the beauty on your face or the smile on your face. But Jupiter exaggerates, Venus indulges. So it can be exaggerated styles, it can be over-decorated, it could be somebody who spends a lot of money, somebody who makes a lot of money, somebody who wastes a lot of money. It can be, but really the best symbol is Venus is, here's something sweet. Wow, there's a wonderful chocolate, you know, caramel cheesecake or something. You know, there's this great tea or blueberry mango cheesecake or whatever. You have this beautiful cake. Can I have a piece? Oh, a bigger piece. Oh, can I have another piece? And you get, by getting what you want, it increases. I understand what I have to have. I understand what I need. I want these choices. I got to get more of this. I can't get enough of this. I want more of that. There's this haunting, exaggerated envy, or lust, or choices. It's rarely going to choose on the modest or moderate side. That's a Saturn thing. So the exaggeration, the waste. Well, if you have the 100 chocolates, you're going to put on the weight. So Venus to Moon puts on weight, but Venus to Jupiter exaggerates however Venus is working at whatever level it's working at, where you need more and more. So it's one of these factors. It's in there with the weight factors or the drinking factors. There's a tendency to indulge too much, but there's a tendency to think you're lucky and it should be given to you. If you don't have if your Mars is weak and you don't get what you want, you expect everyone to give it to you. So everybody has a unique sense of values choices, things they like, don't like, what's beautiful, what's not beautiful. It's just normal to have this. And what's wrong with thinking, I understand how I'm going to get this? Well, I'll marry someone who's going to, I'll attract someone who's going to be well off, and then I get the things that I want. And you get the things you want, and there's other trade-offs. Just life. You know, all that glitters isn't gold. So having to struggle with right and wrong understandings. If everybody's doing this, if everybody's ripping off the government, why don't I? I should be able to do it too. Like, those would be the dark sides of outside energy and understanding of outside energy of how to get what I want. It could be a misunderstanding of that. I mean, if you have someone who has this as getting a divorce, they're not going to settle for small amounts of money. It's going to be a fight to try, and they're going to expect they're worth way much more. If they, whatever they want, it's going to be embellished, exaggerated, expensive. So I've kind of taken this more outwardly to see the Jupiter, to try and work the Jupiter into seeing affecting the Venus, and but you get the idea. So it seems to be lucky, but even that luck, a lot depends on whether you deserve it. If you get the things you want to get stoned, and somebody gives you the thing, and you're hanging around with a crowd just because they got the drugs, and it's not a good thing. It's not. There can be bad things that you want that have huge effects on your values. If you hung around with a gang, or you hung around with bad people, how do you get out of school, you get out of the gangs, you get out of the weird people, and you get on your own. 10 years later, other people are showing up, and you're thinking you're free of them, and still you have behavior patterns that tie you into the same choices. It's hard to get rid of a bad habit, especially if it's a habit that you like. So liking, Moon, Venus, liking. So you start adding these Moon, Venus, and Jupiter, when they're all stressed, you really see an indulgence increased and the potential for excesses. So, okay, the challenge to understand what's right and wrong can be used. This is right. You have to have the right understanding and hold to it. This is the right way to go, or you're not getting what you want, you're unhappy. So you have to use the understanding to reach that Venus. And there's a fight to make it what's right or what's wrong. Okay. I touched it's like I climb a tree of this aspect. I go out in a branch and explain it. And all of a sudden I've ignored all the other branches. I can't do them all, but we're getting the main idea of making these associations. And they're true for everybody, regardless of race, color, caste, poverty level, country you live in. These things go on for everybody. That's what makes life so interesting and understanding it so interesting. When you have Saturn to Venus, it's an interesting thing. Saturn to Venus, it's kind of a stinginess. That restricts the emotions. I'm not going to get what I want, so I'm not going to be quick to show what I want. So people with Saturn Venus usually won't be the first one to say I love you, or the first one to smile. You'll have to smile before they smile. So as they smile, then they'll smile. But they won't be, hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm happy. They won't show that first to be defensive. They'll be cautious with their finances. They won't think they're necessarily beautiful enough. It's not good enough. It's not, I'm not charming enough. I have to be, wait a second, and there's a plan what to do next. So the planning around what I want, the delay of Saturn creates a timing, a strategy. I'm not going to get what I want. I better work for this, or I better. It kind of creates a moderation in getting what you want. In a way, it seems like a severe thing, like an old man being with a young woman. You know, like, you wonder about it. You wouldn't wish it on anybody. But so the Saturn to the negative side is there's a stinginess that restricts. I'm not going to share what I have. I don't have enough. I'm not liked enough. I'm not going to share it. So there's a tendency, I better have just a job. There's a better play it safe. There's a tendency to be overly conservative and restrictive or defensive around what you want. Inhibited emotionally. I'm never good enough. So a musician might have this aspect. I'm not good enough, and they're always struggling to make it better, but they're never content with what they're doing. But they still could be the musician, although it would be a certain type of musician that would have a certain restraint around the emotions. There would be a certain type of music, maybe classical. It would be there in a different way. That took a lot of planning and timing. With Saturn, you have to work to get what you want. Jupiter, you're trying to take the opportunity to get what you want. Mars, you're trying to force to get what you want. But Saturn, you have to work. It's not coming easy. If you want that, you're going to have to, you can get it, but it's going to take time to get it. You know, so it has that planning or that caution around it. One of the interesting qualities about Saturn and Venus, these are people that are usually loyal in a relationship. They're not going to be frivolous or have the affair. They're usually, even if it's difficult, they'll hold in and they'll wait because I'm not getting things okay, but I put in the time, we've made investment, though. They tend to be loyal and hold in around their emotions. They're not frivolous, they're cautious, they're defensive, they're practical. Someone could feel they don't have enough money and they can be very practical about what job to take. It may not be what they want, but it makes good money and they'll take it and they get the things that they want. But they, you know, someone with Mars to the Venus will charm and be pushy with their charm. Hey, how do you like me so far? I'm too sexy for my hat, you know, like stuff like that. But Jupiter is going to exaggerate. I want this. Oh, I want to get more. Do you want to get better? You want to be better? Wow, you can invest more. Come join our bank. We'll be better investments. We'll make you more money. Oh, great. I'm sold. That's the Jupiter. The Saturn, wait a second. Who are you going to trust? Protect what you have. They're not going to be speculators. They'll be more defensive around it. But it's defensive around money, but it's also defensive around emotions, around satisfaction. They're going to be harder to satisfy. You sleep with someone with Mars, Venus, you're just in the adrenaline rush and boom, things happen. Jupiter, they're overindulgent and it might seem like too smothering or too demanding. But the Saturn is defensive and hard. You could make love, be happy, and you're happy and you're expecting you were good for the other person. They look at it and they say, well, that was okay. Or they won't say anything. They'll be quiet and you're not sure you've satisfied them. You think, yeah, but it's not registering the same way. So all these aspects in any situation you can imagine at different ages, at different times, how they would work. I'm just grabbing a couple of examples that are just coming to my mind in the moment to try and embellish this. Okay, so that defensive, that cautious, kind of stingy, defensive emotions, defensive finances. So emotions, finances. When you're in love, you throw your money away. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter. It comes back. When you're not in love, you tend to be defensive about, nobody loves me. I'm defensive. And you tend to be serious. I don't have what I want. Money gets tight. And there's limits to how much you can worry about outside. When you can be good just in yourself. Can you be content with yourself, even if you're rich or poor outside? Saturn's the outer factor, but it has an inner effect. Often the Venus, Saturn, they weren't appreciated by their dad. Their dad didn't talk to them that much. Or there was this serious thing about I want to get appreciation from my dad and dad's ignoring me. You know, it has these type of qualities. Okay, when we get outside of Saturn, we're watching the three extreme outer planets. They have a most dramatic and upsetting effect on Venus. Even the positive aspects have a high cost. So we got excitement, we got romance and adventure, and we got harsh truth. Okay, so